We've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now. But this is your fight.
Never heard of the Millennium Falcon?
Should I have?
It's a ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Kessel Run Weekly. My name is Danny.
And I'm Kristen.
And I'm Anna.
And we are so excited today to talk crazy theories, which is what we love doing so much for Star Wars.
Yeah.
So obviously we have no news because we're still coming hot off of a week straight of news from Celebration. So if you guys want to hear what came out of Celebration, the news and stuff like that, check out our last episode for our Celebration reactions, all that kind of stuff. And all of it's there, literally all of it. But today we are talking episode 9 theories because Lord have mercy, we have some, don't we, Anna?
We do.
So we thought it would be cool to go through and talk 9 theories for episode 9, Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
I feel so clever. So we've got some that are kind of like, okay, I can kind of see that, to some that are like, it's a little strange. We had to go tinfoil hat with this for sure. But Anna, did you want to kick us off in reading theory number 1?
Yeah. Okay, so theory 1. Rey and Kylo train together, or opening trailer scene is a vision. So this one for me. Sure. So this one for me, I was watching the trailer for like the 1,000th time last night, kind of preparing for this and everything, and I'm starting to lean towards it might be a vision. The TIE silencer is not Kylo's TIE silencer. It's a different cockpit altogether. So Kristen brought up an interesting thing last night about the TIE. I don't know if you want to share that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just said that, in The Last Jedi, we never saw him with his tie. Especially towards the end, because, I mean, I guess he probably would have landed it wherever Finn and Rose were at the end.
In the middle of the holdover maneuver.
Yeah, like where Phasma, fell to her maybe death? Maybe?
Maybe.
We don't know. She's never really dead, really and truly. But we don't know. I told Danny he could have just jumped in some random ship and just went. He may not have time to get in his own.
That's true. I mean, it does look a lot like his TIE silencer, but like that's the thing is like it bothers me that there's differences. Which I mean, obviously between movies there's going to be differences, but I don't know. What do you think? Is it a vision or are they training together?
So when you guys are talking vision, you're saying like altogether just a dream, right? Because I've heard like people because I was listening to somebody else speak about visions and they were talking like how Kylo and Luke were fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, what exactly? Because for me, like, I feel like they're training,
Okay.
but it's not like, but at the same time, I sometimes go back and forth with that not being Kylo.
Mm-hmm.
And JJ just being JJ, want to just throw out like the gloves and then it just be somebody completely different. So I go back and forth.
Yeah.
I go back and forth because I'm like, I can't trust JJ. Like, I can't. Like, every time he puts out a teaser trailer, it's like scenes from different scenes, like pictures from different scenes. And it's just like, okay, I feel like they're there because it's not like when Luke was not there with the Last Jedi because we didn't see the sand or whatever it was moving, and this time we see like the whole engine throwing the sand and Rey is running. So I don't know. I go back and forth, but I do think like it's not Rey there like trying to kill Kylo.
Yeah, see, I don't think it's a try to kill either because she lights her lightsaber, but it's not aggressive, I guess. It's more of prepared is what it seems like. And so, and on top of that too, in The Last Jedi, Kylo, when he saw Luke or thought he saw Luke on Crate, he said, "I want every gun to fire on that man." So it stands to reason if he's chasing down Rey, why would he not just shoot?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That would have been the thing where she would have had to turn around and block shots if she could, all that kind of stuff. And that, I mean, it could have been another display of power too, but that's where it doesn't make sense to me. And the reason I'm kind of leaning towards vision, like she's having some kind of force vision or something like that, is that for one, it would be cool to bring back what we saw in Force Awakens, where she touched the lightsaber, all of a sudden she saw all these things that we, as far as we know, has not seen before. But with the vision, the reason I think it's a vision is the beginning of the trailer. She's panting, like it's and it doesn't seem like I'm exhausted. It's more of a panic, like I got to do this, and kind of like almost psyching herself up to like it's almost like she knows what's about to happen. There's a lot of premeditation and preparedness for her on her part for that. And so that's why I'm thinking that maybe this is like symbolic or some kind of vision that she has during the movie. But I back to what you've said, Anna, multiple times, JJ. That's the heart of it. JJ, he's very deceitful. So you can't really trust much of what we see in the trailer. But he makes it fun to speculate, if anything.
Sure.
Sure. Definitely. But personally, I'm leaning towards vision. Because I would like to see that be a power displayed for her more than just one time. One theory that I had back with Force Awakens is that I still think this might be true, and I think this kind of ties in with something that we're going to talk about a little later, is that the same way that Rey reacted to Luke's lightsaber, I think that Kylo's was reacting to Vader's helmet. So the kind of same properties. Whereas, because otherwise, why would he say, "I'll finish what you started, grandfather"? It's like, you don't know what he started. That was 30 years ago.
Thanks, dear boy.
Exactly. So you really don't know what you're doing, but there's got to be something else there. So I'm wondering if we're going to see a lot more of that.
Interesting. I like it.
Yeah. No, and the thing is that her breathing is also like the same as when she's training with Luke in Act 2. Sure. And she's like trying, like she goes from like panting to then calming down and like kind of be ready.
You're right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it like slows down her breathing. And that's why I'm like, because and I feel like I'm being biased. Well, the only reason why I don't want it to be a vision is because I want it to be like Rey being as powerful as Rey is like already and doing that flip. Like, it's more like girl power.
Yeah.
I was like, no, she has to do it for real.
No, I want the flip to happen somehow. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, being in the room when that happened, everybody lost their minds. It was great. We lost our minds. But
Oh my god!
Yeah. It was funny, too, because, like, you wanted to cheer, and then immediately you're like, shh, we're going to miss the trailer.
That's why it's good that they rolled it like again because like the first time you watch a trailer, you don't even see anything. It's like the first time you watch Game of Thrones. Like I have to rewatch the last episode tonight because you get too excited and then you're not looking at all the details, and then you're like, okay, by the 20th time you go and record a podcast about theories.
There you go. Definitely. But yeah, Kristen, did you have anything else you wanted to weigh in on theory number 1?
No, I mean,
where do you stand on it?
I'm kind of torn. I don't really want it to be a vision because, kind of like Anna said, I want it to be real because I want that to be the full effect of Rey's powers right now. But at the same time, I've never been on this Reylo ship, so I don't want them really training together either. So I don't know, like, but I don't think it's necessarily him attacking her either because, like we said, like it wouldn't make sense because he's not shooting at her. So I don't know. I'm like, it's just JJ. I'm just not gonna believe any of it right now. It was a cool scene.
Well, and to throw another wrench in it, I guess. So say that they are training together. What brings that about? Like,
Right.
Do they collectively decide, oh, the Emperor is back and he's pretty nasty, let's go together? Or I think that's my biggest thing is what in the world would bring that about to be like, you know what, temporary truce. I know I hated you at one point, but we're good right now.
Because I mean, it doesn't work. Like I may be thinking a lot about Game of Thrones, but truce never works. And like you don't stop a war just because of whatever creature.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's the part of me. I'm like, we don't see any villain except like obviously the laugh of Palpatine at the end. But I don't think Hux is that big in order to become such a great power. So I'm not in the Reylo ship either.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they fight together, I still want her to be with Poe. But like, I agree. I don't know what's going to bring them together in order to like, fight like that.
Yeah.
I do think like there's certain moments where they might be together just to throw us off.
Probably. Because that's how JJ works.
Right.
Because, I mean, we've seen that they can put aside their differences for a moment, at least, in the throne room, and they're bad. Like, they work together really well. So, maybe it's another kind of thing like that. Like, hey, look, this dude doesn't like me, he doesn't like you, common enemy, let's do this thing.
Yeah. Kind of like Snoke was.
Yeah, kind of like Snoke. So, yeah.
Well, but still the chill events, like what gets them to that point where they're like, hi, we used to be friends.
Like, are they still connecting? Because we know that this movie doesn't pass. I mean, it's not exactly where we left off, right?
Right.
It's like, what, 10 years after? No, I don't know if it's that long.
I don't know that they said exactly how many years, but some time has passed. Yeah, I think is how they said it.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to show us at the beginning of the movie. Like, is their relationship already done? Like, after the door closes in on Rey, is that the end, or are they keeping in contact? Because if they keep in contact with whatever force call they have, maybe that's the way that they end up just meeting in this desert island.
See, that would be interesting if that continued too, because I still don't believe that they'll force time calls. I still don't believe that was 100% Snoke. There's something else to that. Because he went through and he's like, oh, I connected your minds, I did all this and everything. He's like, cool. Well, when you were dead and they were on Crate, it happened again. So there's something still there, unless the connection lasts because he connected them. That's a possibility. But I don't know. Like, I don't entirely believe that they're as separate as Snoke wanted to make them out to be.
Really?
So I don't know. You look like you in-depth thinking of something.
I'm just thinking, I don't know. I'm just trying to think about that scene. Because I mean, it was a little different though. I don't feel like they really saw each other necessarily. I think they just. No, they did. They did. Just kidding.
Because she straight up closed the door on
yeah.
her.
Like, goodbye. I felt like it was more of a presence.
You suck. Close.
No. Yeah, they did see each other. So I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things. Kind of like once you're kind of there and attached, you're just there.
It's possible.
So many things.
So yeah. So anybody else have anything on theory 1? Cool. All right. We'll move on to theory number 2. So Rey's parents aren't dead,
and Kylo lied. So,
I mean, I kind of already thought that from the beginning when he was kind of first telling her, like, your parents are nothing, like, they were just drunk, selling you off for money, da-da-da-da. Like, I don't know, I felt like he was just trying to, like, just throw things at her almost to try to hurt her so that she would be angry and come and be, like, rule the galaxy with him, I guess.
Yeah, you're nothing, but not to me. Most romantic line in Star Wars.
But not to me. Those are Tony, just because I can. Funny.
Oh my god. Well, and so I agree with you on that he lied. I mean, I didn't feel like he would have had a reason to tell the truth, but there's always a version of the truth that can be twisted. So, but what always kind of confused me was in the Forceback vision from Force Awakens, you see a ship leave the planet. So if they were truly just drunks that were looking to get some money to go basically drink their days away in a ditch, why would they have gone so much trouble to drop their kid off on an entirely different planet and then leave and go do their things? Like, that seems like a lot of effort for somebody who doesn't want to put in any effort.
Yeah. Like, I feel for me, I agree with you guys. I don't think that her parents are dead. For me, what I've always thought since that moment that we see her being dropped off is that her parents realize, like, they're gonna kill her because they're killing everybody. Let's just throw her to this planet that nobody's gonna come. Like, you know, it's the most, and whoever she was with ends up dying or something. Like, because when I saw that, and after I watched Rogue One, like, I felt like there had a similarities between Jen and Rey. Like, they were left, and whoever was taking care of them just kind of abandoned them, and that's also why they became so powerful. So I also thought that Kylo, when he was telling her, oh, they're nobodies, he knows so much what she wants in life, and she wants a family. And Kylo knowing her, like, even force calls or no force calls, he knew that she loved Han Solo, that she found this family with the rebellion. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hurt her where it hurts the most. Because at the same time, Kylo wants the same thing. Kylo wants that family that betrayed her, and he's jealous that she is, like, taking his family from him. Something like that.
I actually didn't consider that, yeah. The taking his family from him, because Daddy loved her more than more than Ben is what it kind of looks like.
Like, I feel like because I work with a set of twins, and it's funny because every time you have one twin, like, being interacting with the mom, the other one gets jealous, which is very, like, civil siblings jealousy. So I feel like that with Rey and Kylo. That's why before I used to think that they were brothers, and then I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. But I felt like, oh, Kylo seeing Rey with Han kind of, like, broke his heart, and he was just like a little spoiled brat and was like, you took away my family, blah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he definitely is one of those people that's like, no, I was still playing with that. Put it down.
Definitely.
I don't want it anymore.
Right. If I can't have it, you can't have it.
And then, like, I feel like maybe he didn't know exactly who Rey's parents were, and he was just like, I know how to lie to her and her believe it because we're, like, connected now.
Right. Backwater planet. Nobody wants to go there. Yeah, they were probably drunks. That's what it was.
And maybe they were. Maybe they were, like, not the best Jedis. Because, well, technically, if one of them was a Jedi and the other one wasn't, maybe that parent was just the bad parent. Or maybe, like, they made a mistake, or who knows? Because, I mean, technically, one of her parents has to be a Jedi for her to be a Jedi, unless it's Anakin. I don't know. I'm speculating too much.
Well, and so the thing on that. So now we're really expanding on this theory. Well, and to your point about the one or the other parent has to be a Jedi. So I wonder if that's not true anymore, though, because at the end of Last Jedi, you get the broom boy, and so unless one or both of his parents are Jedi, then that wouldn't be true of him. He could be another anomaly in the Force, and so I wonder if with this awakening that Snoke detected or felt, I wonder if this is the Force moving differently than it ever has. making way for new, or basically, I guess, more of a connection to the Force from common people, if you would, rather than them all having to be special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because even like I'm thinking now, Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
When we have Ahsoka trying to save like all the little kiddos, we don't really see their parents being Force sensitive, but they have like Force sensitive kids. So I wonder if it's also like you were saying, like Order 66 was like approved and like Palpatine was killing everybody, and kind of the Force, because the Force is its own thing, moved around. It's like, okay, we need to go our separate ways into these kids. I don't know.
Yeah. So that would be interesting. Another reason why I think that he lied is we actually see a similar ship in the trailer flying towards a place that you actually pointed out to me earlier that I did not even put a connection to. I don't know if you want to take that.
So that planet that we see, it reminded me of the planet where Galen Erso is in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, okay, no, it looks different. But what reminded me of something also from Rogue One is that there's two towers that look like Jedi temples, from like the same one from Jeddah, Mm-hmm. So I wonder if it's like a planet where there's also some Jedi that are still there, or even one of Rey's parents. I feel like either they're looking for some way to fix her lightsaber, or her bringing the books that she has from the Jedi temple that she took from Luke over there, and kind of like establishing this as a new Jedi place or temple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm lost for words. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to think in some way.
Kristen?
Oh, I don't have any thoughts. I'm just kind of following you right now.
So I think that's really interesting, because actually what I was just thinking of while you were talking about that is it's something that we haven't actually heard of again since Rogue One or Force Awakens, is the Church of the Force, which Lor San Tekka was one of the leaders. And so I wonder if maybe that's where we find some of them. And maybe some people in the Church of the Force have discovered that they can too manipulate or use the Force as well, not being the special brand that the Jedi looked for and everything. Kind of showing that maybe the Force is moving differently, or the Force has changed in some way, and it's affecting what usually would have been considered as normal people.
Yeah. Because I really don't believe that Luke, Rey, and Kylo, if you want to call it, are the last Force-sensitive people, especially when we see the Broom Kid. And I feel like there has to be a way how they survived after Order 66. There has to be a way to survive after.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's the place. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and then on top of that,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it also brings your point, which you were talking about, the Skywalker.
Yeah. and we will definitely get to that one, because I've got a lot of feelings on that. Well, and all I was going to say is we don't know if Ahsoka may have taught others or found others in her years of journey, because I mean, like, there's a lot of time unaccounted for with Ahsoka right now.
Yeah.
We don't know where she's at this point. I mean, I would imagine she's fairly elderly to this point, but I don't know how Togruta age. But we don't know about Ahsoka. We still don't know about Ezra and Thrawn. I'm trying to think. I mean, I know that there are other Jedi elsewhere for sure. And then on top of that, we don't know about all of the people that left the Jedi Temple where Luke was training them. And so we don't know if all of them actually did die, or who left with Kylo, who didn't, all that kind of stuff. Well, so that's still kind of open.
I thought that Luke said that whoever he didn't take with him, he killed.
Well, so here's the thing on that, though, is that if you remember in The Last Jedi, unless it's just the way they cut it or how he saw the vision, but Luke was under a pile of rubble. So I doubt that he would, well, right, but I doubt that he would have seen every single death. You know what I mean? So there's possibilities, just like
Maybe
Order
he
66.
Saw their bodies, though.
It's possible. But I mean, just like with Order 66, I mean, it's possible some may have gotten away, and he just didn't know it in his anguish of seeing all the death and everything around him, and in his failure. I don't know. I'm reaching, but
you are reaching.
But I don't know. I think it'd be cool if they were like, "Oh yes, Rey's parents were at that temple" or something like that. Like, I don't know. I think that would be cool, Because then they would be Jedi. I'm getting a funny look right now.
Yeah, you're like way over the fence over there, bud. Way over. You hopped really far.
All right, well, moving on. So next theory, Kristen, you want to read that one for us?
The next theory is that Kylo's helmet is making him evil.
Anna, you brought this one to us because I actually did not consider this at all.
Okay, so me as a dark side lover, I feel like that's me being biased. When we see, okay, so in the whole trailer, we don't see Kylo with his helmet. So I was like, okay, that's very interesting. But he's been one to only wear his helmet when he feels like he needs to become the dark side. Mm-hmm. But when we see the helmet being fixed by these hands that are more like Chewbacca than his, it's very interesting how, for me, it reminded me, the red lines reminded me of the Lakes of Mustafar. So, and then I was like, okay, the helmet has always been a symbolism for him to be more like Vader. So I wonder if it was also something that Snoke used to use to kind of control Kylo. Because when there was parts where he was like, oh, take the helmet off. And when he takes the helmet off, it's like him also like being less evil in some way. So I don't know if the Palpatine, or I don't know how, but I feel like whenever he's wearing them, if they made that with like kyber crystal restoration, or I don't know how, but I feel like it makes him evil, or they have something in there to control Kylo. I know.
Kind of makes a little sense though. No, well, and I mean, I feel like there could be some validity in it, because thinking about the times where, opposed to when he has the helmet on and when he doesn't, when he has the helmet on, he's more obedient and more even, calm almost. And then when he tells him to take the helmet off, it's the first time we see him make a play at Snoke right there in front of him before, obviously, he gets fried by lightning. But but that's the first time we ever see him actually act out towards Snoke.
Right.
Yeah.
Every other time it's been kind of an act of reverence towards him. So I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
He always takes it against the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the first scene where he's like smashing something, he smashes it first with the helmet and then with the lightsaber, and the same thing now with the elevator, and he just left it crushed.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always found that very interesting, that like he wanted the helmet so much to become like his grandfather, but then that's the first thing he destroys constantly.
Constantly, yes. Huh. I never considered that at all.
Not me either.
Kristen's like, ooh, I'm thinking of all the things. Because, yeah, I mean, that makes sense, because the helmet, like you said, the helmet was more of a symbolism of being the next Darth Vader and everything. It wasn't not something that he necessarily ever needed for any reason. Man, now my head's reeling. I should have prepared more for this one. But yeah, I like that a lot. I wonder if it's an Ugnaught or something who is fixing it, or maybe some species we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that would be crazy if somehow the helmet, or maybe the helmet more puts a wall between him and Snoke. So maybe that's why he feels he can be more calm or reverent, to where he doesn't have to see his face. He can hide his expressions, hide his face. Maybe that could be it. I don't know. I kind of like the mind control, though. First Order is all about mind control. So I actually...
The first time we see Anakin wearing the helmet, it was like a moment from like him feeling distress and pain from being burnt to like standing up straight to like, oh snap, I have so much control now. Even though then after we have the famous no.
Yeah.
But like there's a moment of change when he puts on the helmet.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I wonder if it's more of a kind of symbolic change in identity. Because at that point, when Anakin was completely encased in that armor, I wonder if it was more of, well, this is who I am now. And so this is the persona I must take on. And so it could be something along those lines with Kylo as well, where he's been, but
like he says, I killed him, he was weak or whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever. No, you didn't. But it's like you're talking the talk. You're not much necessarily walking it. But at the same time, like, I wonder if that's a thing with him as well, is that when he puts on the helmet, he is Kylo Ren, and this is the persona he takes on. And so it's almost like when you wear a mask at a con or on Halloween or something, it's like you feel like you embody that character all of a sudden. So I wonder if that may have something to do with it. But see, what makes me feel like it may not only be that is because of the First Order, because of what we learned through Resistance and everything about what they do with the people in the First Order, brain scraping, stuff like that. They're wildly into mind control.
Yeah.
So I really wouldn't put it past them that their top agent of some kind would have a level of mind control to him, because I mean, Snoke's done a number on him. However, that may be verbally abusive or mentally or whatnot, but he's done something to him. So I wouldn't put it past him. I like that theory. I like that theory a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Will you read number 4?
Kylo versus the Knights of Ren.
So I feel like this will almost expand on what we were just talking about with the mind control and everything. Because, I mean, we see him presumably in the trailer that looks like one of the knights that he spears with the hilt of his lightsaber and everything. So, I don't know. I would like to see it. Because at this point, like, I feel like with him assuming Supreme Leader and stuff like that, that the Knights of Ren are not going to just accept him as, oh yeah, you're Supreme Leader, you're the head, because even though Kylo's supposed to be the leader of them, I feel like in true Skywalker style, he's going to become unhinged to the point where no one has respect for him, nobody looks at it and accepts his leadership whatsoever. So I don't know, what do you guys think?
I don't know. There's not much to know about it right now. We just know that I don't know if it was confirmed, but I know in The Last Jedi, I think we discovered that essentially the Knights of Ren were the people who left with him after Luke's little Jedi training camp, right?
I think that was a theory. I don't think that they ever have actually officially confirmed it.
But what would happen to the people that followed him?
True. So yeah.
Because they're not there with him now.
Yeah.
So, or were,
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There's not much to go on right now. We don't really know much about the Knights of Ren, or at least I don't. Maybe there's comics or books on it, but I don't know much about them, so I don't really have...
There's still a mystery, I believe. I don't know that there's really much on them or anything, but yeah.
I think, well, they were created by JJ, right?
Yes.
So I think that's if they're going to show up, I feel like this is the only movie they will. In JJ's creation, but I don't really know much.
I would definitely like to see them at odds, because in all honesty, it kind of feels like the way everything is heading, it's going to be Kylo versus the First Order. Because, I mean, he's going to be, for all intents and purposes, excommunicated. So, it should be interesting to see how that plays.
Yeah.
For sure.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
No.
I thought not. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you. It's a Sith legend. Darth Plagueis was a dark lord of the Sith, so powerful and so wise, he could use the Force to influence the midi-chlorians to create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side, he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying.
He could actually save people from death.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
What happened to him?
He became so powerful. The only thing he was afraid of was losing his power, which eventually, of course, he did. Unfortunately, he taught his apprentice everything he knew Then his apprentice killed him in his sleep. Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself.
Theory number 5. Palpatine returns.
Oh, you should have said it in the Palpatine voice.
Oh, should I?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can do it. Let's do it. Palpatine returns.
Much better.
That was really good.
As a clone.
Roger.
Roger. So cool. So I feel like this is interesting, mainly because it actually comes out of Legends. This actually happened, guys. Someone's already thought of this, which I don't know. Like, to me, it makes sense because he would have access to the Kaminoan cloners. I don't know if he'd necessarily own those facilities or not, being part of the Empire. I mean, the Empire assumed that they owned everything, so I mean, it stands to reason, but Kamino didn't just disappear when the Empire came to be. So I don't know what happened with those factories or anything like that, but I mean, to me, it would make sense for the only person who claimed he could cheat death to, cheat death. So, what do you guys think?
I feel like I want him to return, but not as a clone. But also, like, how do you come back? I mean, I love Palpatine. I think he's like one of my favorite villains because he's really evil. Mm-hmm. But we see him in Battlefront coming back, and it's like a weird first Force ghost kind of thing, right?
Oh, in Battlefront, it's not a Force ghost. It's a droid, actually.
Droid.
Yeah, so it's basically a droid programmed with his personality to give the order for Operation Cinder. Basically, burn everything down. So he has contingency plans for his death, which means that there's gotta be something. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's something he would have planned for.
Yeah. I wonder if this goes back to Darth Plagueis, which they found a way to bring somebody back, because we never really saw it except for books or comics. So I wonder if, because we kind of always hint that he was the apprentice that killed Darth Plagueis. So I'm like, did you find a way to stay alive after death or to come back? And this is where you're at, because if anybody could do it, it would have been him. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and with Palpatine too, I feel like a lot of what he was doing as Emperor was trying to find those weird Force powers, the ways to preserve, to become more powerful, to almost kind of consolidate the power all within himself. I mean, we even see him doing weird stuff in Rebels. Everything over some kind of pot, like a little wizard, warlock, witch or something, and like trying to grab people with fire. So I mean, like, he does a whole lot of crazy stuff and everything. So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been seeing this picture everywhere. And is it like a...
Oh, the picture with Lama Su behind Palpatine?
Yeah, those are the people that ran the clone factory.
Mm-hmm. The Kaminoans, yeah.
Yeah. So the clone theory makes sense if this is like something legit, or if this is
oh no, that's
fan art.
It's fan art.
Dang.
Yeah.
So close. So close.
It's fan art, but that would be funny that the ultimate villain behind everything was Lama Su. Lama Su and Tan Wee. But I mean, I don't know. I don't love the clone idea, but at the same time, it makes sense to me, and it would be something to bring in from Legends and everything. So I don't know. That would be interesting. But the next theory I think is more plausible for Palpatine's return. So our theory number 6. Do I have to do it in the Palpatine voice again?
No, it's okay.
Palpatine returns as a Sith Wraith. So we see a Sith Wraith in Clone Wars. Darth Bane.
and it's horrifying. So, and it's Mark Hamill, but it's horrifying. And I think it would be interesting if maybe like when they're going to the Death Star or something like that in that trailer sequence, if they come across like the remnant of Palpatine, because from what I could gather, the Wraith basically embodies the anger and the hatred, all of the worst things of it. So unlike the Force Ghost, where it actually retains their personality and they still live in the Force, the Sith Wraith basically just keeps the anger and the hatred, and it's almost like a poltergeist kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
like a demon.
Yeah, like a demon or something like that. So, I don't know. What do y'all think?
I mean, I don't know much about Bane. I don't really know if I understand the whole Sith Wraith, but I mean, it does seem a little more plausible than a clone. Because it seems more natural, I guess. Versus...
I mean, it would be a way that one could consider that they cheated death.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a technicality kind of thing, though. It's like, technically, but I don't feel like Palpatine would have gone for that if he had a choice. So I don't know. Anna?
I mean, I'm trying to remember. There's another Sith that kind of like, when they find him, I think we see him in the Vader comics, I want to say.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, he stays in his helmet. So like when you said this, because I hadn't thought about this before, when you said that, that's what I thought about. I was like, is it gonna be like those Sith that it's kind of like a Force Ghost, but it's not, like their spirit stays in whatever, in something. I think with him was the helmet and he was able to move his robes. I'm like, is there something that stayed in the Death Star from Palpatine that it kind of just like throws him off in that moment, or
something so evil that it haunted whatever is there. I mean, still goes back to like a poltergeist kind of thing.
It became the best haunted mansion in the whole galaxy.
Right? It's like, guys, this place is terrifying.
Have fun.
I mean, I think that would be really cool for that to happen. And on top of that too, though, like I feel like if it was a Sith Wraith, though, then I don't know. I feel like there would be next to no reason to highlight him in the trailer, though, because then as a Sith Wraith, he could do nothing. It would literally be bound to the Death Star and stuff like that.
He alive. He just survived. Like,
he just survived.
Yeah, he wanted revenge like Maul.
There you go. Taking a page out of his old apprentice book.
Yeah. If Maul can do it, he can do it.
Right.
He's the best manipulator ever. So.
What's that?
He's the best at manipulating.
That's true.
So I wonder.
And I mean, we've talked about his plans for his plans. So I mean, it stands.
He had to have a dying plan.
He had to have a dying plan. So no, I think he's alive. But a Sith Wraith would be interesting for sure. Anna, you want to read our next one?
Okay, return to the forest moon of Endor.
Yes. So I think they go back to Endor, and that's where this Death Star dish has ended. But not actually the forest moon, because Kristen and I were talking about this last night, and the forest moon of Endor is where everything happens, not actually Endor. So I think it'd be cool if we actually saw Endor, and that's where some of the debris ended up and things like that. But I think that's where this Death Star piece may have crashed, and they are looking for something.
But what?
But what? Anna, I think you have an idea, don't you?
Maybe. So like I said, this trailer I don't know if it's gonna be like coming back and forth, but when I saw the Death Star, I'm like, okay, we know that the Death Star is created with kyber crystals, so I wonder if Rey's kyber crystal from Luke's lightsaber destroyed, which we were talking about earlier. Like, I don't know if it technically can be destroyed, but if somehow she ends up looking for another kyber crystal in that Death Star, which will be a good place to find them. That was my theory.
That would be crazy to have a piece of the Death Star in a lightsaber. It's like, where'd you get your crystal? Where did it call out to you? Oh, I don't know. The wreckage of the Death Star.
I see see the tides going crazy. We're like all surrounding the Death Star. So I wonder if that's also like the force power from the crystals.
That would be cool. Because I was thinking about that last night when I was rewatching the trailer, is that like for the wind that was making those giant waves around the Death Star dish, it wasn't as windy around Rey and all them.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it wasn't. It was almost a very centralized. So that makes sense. I like that idea. What do you think?
I don't know. I feel like it's gotta be something bigger though. Like I feel like the whole movie can't be like her trying to get to the Death Star just to get a kyber crystal. So I feel like there's got to be something bigger to it. We just don't know what yet. But I mean, I definitely think they went to go get a kyber crystal because I don't know why else. I mean, it's not like they just were like, let's go find Palpatine.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that was a thought, or but
yeah.
I don't know. I just need more.
Yeah, there's got to be a reason for them to go there. It almost seems like the Death Star part is a side mission. Like, hey, we need to go get this thing to defeat so-and-so or whatnot. Kind of like the voyage to Mount Mordor or something like that, Mount Doom.
What about a holocron? The Sith holocron.
That could be something.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Let's go get something to make Kylo more evil.
There you go. Anna's here for it. I don't know. That would be really cool, and the kyber crystal thing would explain why she has the container that she does, the cylinder that she's holding.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be I don't know. That's a large chunk for a kyber crystal for such a big container. So I don't know. And can one even cut off part of a kyber crystal? There's that too. There's so much.
I know.
But yes.
We just need more.
I do like that kyber crystal idea, though.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, so moving right along, Kristen, you want our next one?
Yeah. So Snoke and Palpatine are somehow connected. I mean, they have to be. You can't just make Snoke like a throwaway character. That'd have been really lame. So they have to be, somehow working together. I guess I feel like Palpatine had a plan with him. Maybe he was like kind of like his apprentice for a minute or something, and then he was like, "Well, I can't show my face, so you have to go show yours," even though it's really ugly. And he just failed him.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I feel like there's a lot of validity in this, only because here recently, I think it was actually Blast Point's podcast, they shared it was concept art from The Empire Strikes Back, and it was the first look at Palpatine's, like, the concept art for his face, and it looks scary like Snoke. Like, I like looking at it, I was like, I've seen that face before. So I don't know if, like, and this goes back to the who is Snoke theory debate and stuff like that from way back in The Force Awakens. But, I mean, is it still possible that Snoke could be a failed clone? Or some kind of manifestation from Palpatine? Because we don't know where he came from. I think the most that we've ever gotten from, like, a concept art book or art of or anything like that was that he was from the unknown regions. Which could mean anything. So, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, for me, this can fill in the gaps that we've all had about Snoke. Like, I agree with Kristen. I feel like Snoke was such a lame character at points. And at least with this one, we will have, like, a backstory that we've been wanting for years. Mm-hmm. So... yeah, I feel like somehow they're connected. It could be a failed, like you said, a failed clone experiment, something that that Palpatine did, or because I never saw Snoke so powerful. Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
and that's what kind of made me wonder too, because I mean, he did display quite a lot of power in The Last Jedi to all of a sudden be taken down by his own pride, which I mean. That's a Sith kind of thing to happen. But I don't know. Like,
But there was no like fight. Like every time we see like a Sith fighting, even Emperor Palpatine, because some of his best moves come from fighting the Jedi's.
Mhm.
So it's like with Snoke, he didn't even see, even if there were. That's why at points I don't feel like Snoke was connecting Kylo and Rey all the time, because even though he's telling you what Kylo's thinking, like he doesn't realize that Kylo's not even thinking that, and he's about to kill him.
Mhm.
Like compared to Palpatine, even Palpatine was so evil that you have Yoda talking to him and not realizing he's like the biggest Sith in the world.
Right.
So it's just like,
yeah. I think my biggest question on this would be, how does he fit into Palpatine's plan?
Yeah.
Because he's got to be one of the moving parts if he is in any way involved in Palpatine. So I think that would be my biggest thing that I'd want to know for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he had to be a pawn. I'm just trying to really think about it in my head because, kind of like y'all were saying, I mean, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like we saw a lot of Snoke's powers. We really physically only saw lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And he claims that he put Kylo and Rey's like minds
Bridge
together.
their minds, yeah.
But that may not have been him.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been Palpatine the whole time, who was like not necessarily puppeting him. It's not like he's behind him like with strings, you know what I mean? But I mean something to that effect. But I mean he had to have some type of power because of the lightning. Like that's not something that I think Palpatine could have just like ran through him like, here you go.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean he did sit like the entire time. Like I don't think he ever really got up or anything. So I don't know if
he got up to electrocute Kylo. That's about it.
Well,
Walk straight.
Yeah, right.
And like not Yoda style. Like Yoda, you could tell like he can kick some butt. Like no, this guy was like just like I don't know.
Very decrepit, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Which and I believe that I don't remember if it was Ryan Johnson or whatnot, but but they did mention that all of his like scars and things like that were congenital. So he had these since birth, which would make sense if it was a failed clone or something like that. And Kristen's losing her mind.
What if this was the beginning of Palpatine's power in bringing people back from the dead? What if this was a Sith Lord that he brought back, and that's why he was so decrepit and only had very little power? That's why he couldn't get up and do anything, because he wasn't powerful enough.
Oh, I like that.
But he could use the Force, or use the electricity just through the Force. But that was it. What if this was the beginning of Palpatine? This was his first experiment of bringing people back from the dead. And that's why he looked the way he did. He looked so gross.
So this is Palpatine's Frankenstein.
Yeah. I'm serious. What if it was? What if this is him
That would be
experimenting with trying to
insane.
bring people back from the dead?
Yeah. Dude, I'm for it.
Like, it makes sense.
Yeah. Kristen's like all in. She's like, yes, I got one.
I like that.
That's
it.
awesome.
That one.
Because, I mean, when Snoke came around, Palpatine wasn't an option.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we didn't think Palpatine would ever come back, really.
Yeah.
But, so maybe they realized that that's what Snoke was created from, so that's why they have to go get rid of Palpatine, so that's why they're going to the Death Star.
That would be crazy. And that would fit him into the plan, which would be interesting. Because he'd kind of basically be Palpatine's current proxy as almost like keeping his seat warm for the First Order. Wow.
You're welcome.
Good job.
Good job.
Yeah. Right? I love the best theories always have that because it just leaves you speechless like, I'm going to be thinking about this for weeks. Man. All right. So theory number 9. So this is the one that I still hold to, that I've heard people are like, oh, that would be lame, but I think it would be amazing. Skywalker is going to be the new term for the new Jedi, which would mean that's why it's Rise of Skywalker. There's a rise of the new Jedi and everything, which there was I don't have it pulled up, but there was a meme that somebody put together, a photo somebody put together of Snoke's speech in Force Awakens, talking about there has been an awakening, the Force Awakens. Something about, and it will give rise to or something with the Last Jedi, or he will be the Last Jedi. The Last Jedi, and then and it was like, and if he's allowed to live or whatever, it'll be the Rise of Skywalker, and then hey, the Rise of Skywalker. So like the title was right there, probably within the first, I don't know, 20 minutes of the movie, which is pretty funny. But I feel like that has a lot of validity to it and gives a lot more weight to the title because Rey could be that first Skywalker. Now, she's not a Skywalker by blood, by birth. I don't believe that. But at the same time, I feel like Skywalker is going to be the new Jedi because you can't call him Jedi. It's what she's doing and what needs to be done can't be done by the original Jedi code.
Yeah.
They have to be able to equally wield the dark and light, and she can. And so I think that's what makes her special because they're not going to go, oh yeah, you're a gray Jedi. They don't exist. So, and it's not gray. It's just that she has more power to wield both, I guess, in a way, or be able to venture between the two and use the advantages of the two, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Without having to be succumbed to one or the other. What do you think?
I know, I liked it. I feel like this is like the evolution of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Jedi have evolved, and we see like Rey keeping the foundation of the Jedis, which are the books from Luke's temple, whatever. But we also see how they have changed, and maybe they have realized like, oh, your guidelines do not work necessarily with the world today. So we need to change our mentality, our the way we fight and the way we use the Force. So I feel like, yes, this new title of the Skywalker, this meaning like the new Jedis to come, fits in perfectly. Plus, for me, it's also like a sentimental value. Like, this is the end of the saga. This is the end of the Skywalkers. But at the end of the day, the Skywalkers was what made Star Wars Star Wars. Mm-hmm. So there has to be a way for that legacy to continue with the movies, with everything that's to come for generations. Because we cannot just like erase the Skywalkers for everybody. Like we're adults now and we grew up with the Skywalkers. But I feel like other people should have like a big meaning to the Skywalkers as well.
Mm-hmm. It's a legacy. And I think that's what a lot of this means is it's the legend. It said in the beginning of the trailer, every generation has a legend, and I think it's the legend of the Skywalkers that was really big harped on in Last Jedi as well. And so I think that it means a lot for that to be that. What do you think?
I'm honestly a little torn. Don't hate me, but I don't necessarily want the new term for Jedi to be Skywalker because I just feel like it just doesn't sound quite right. Maybe because I'm just so used to being like, oh, I want to be a Jedi. You know what I mean? But I just can't really imagine people being like, I want to be a Skywalker. Mm-hmm. Like, it just doesn't flow, I guess. I do agree that it's a legacy, and I think it's going to be like some former type, maybe. But I don't know. Like, I'm just a little torn. I don't want that to be necessarily the new, like, given term, I guess. But I almost want to say it's something like maybe that's passed on, so maybe it's like kind of still, I don't know, it's hard to explain.
So more of just the legend of Skywalker.
Yeah, like this is what the Skywalkers have passed on, because I know we kind of briefly chatted last night about, because this theory's kind of been on us since really the trailer. Mm-hmm. And last night I kind of discussed with you that, we not trying to not include Leia, but at the same time we never really saw Leia in the Force as much, other than her like Mary Poppins stunt. Yeah, I know. So I mean, we have like Luke, and then you have Anakin, who are both given similar situations, and one went good and one went dark. One went to the dark side. So I don't know. I feel like you kind of have like the middle, and like we talked about, we think Rey is going to be kind of a wielder of both. Mm-hmm. So,
or maybe like a group of people will become like the Skywalkers.
Maybe.
I mean, aside from the family. I don't know, but that it also makes sense what you said. Now I'm like thinking.
So yeah, I dig it. I'm interested to see what it really means, because, like you said, really the only Skywalkers left are Leia and Ben. And I don't think Ben's rising anywhere. I'm pretty sure he's kind of made his bed. So, which, I mean, a lot of people, Star Wars is about redemption. So, a lot of people are rooting for that Ben-demption. So,
I mean, I don't necessarily want a redemption, I guess, but at the same time, when you think about it, Rey and Ben are going to be the last people that were trained by Skywalkers. Nobody else in the world at this point, even moving forward with Jedi, will be trained by Skywalkers.
That's true.
They're done. So maybe that's kind of what the Rise of Skywalker is that legend, and the two people that have that Skywalker, well, even though we don't know if Rey has the blood or not, it's still in her, I guess, because she was trained and she considered most of them, just like her family. So maybe that's that rise that we're going to see is, the last little bit of people who were trained by Skywalkers.
I dig it.
I like it.
Sweet. I think that's a good place to leave that. So Anna, you had a bonus theory. So sorry, we actually have 10 for 9. But you had a bonus theory that I really liked. Did you want to read that?
Yeah. So we see in the trailer Leia with the medal from Yavin, right? Yes. So my theory is that she leaves, like she has Han's medal for some reason, and she gives it to Rey. Because I know a lot of people are like, sorry, Chewie needs the medal. He never got it, which was not fair for sure. But I feel like this could be the moment where Leia just leaves the whole, like the movie entirely. Because I don't feel like they're gonna really kill her, more like her like in a beautiful send off, and then her legacy is gonna be like giving that medal that will be a father-like gift to Rey.
I like it.
And I'm gonna cry.
Well, and it's a part of Han, and Han meant a lot to her and everything. And I wonder if that embrace that we get in the trailer, where you see Rey kind of have a tear come down her face, I wonder if that may actually have to do with that same scene of kind of like, this is the last time we see each other, we'll part ways and everything. Which is incredibly sad right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that would be good, because they need to give her a good send-off. I highly doubt in any way death will be involved with that character. There's no way. I feel like that would be, like, in all honesty, when I thought she died in The Last Jedi, I was outraged. In the movie, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, it made me so mad. And, I mean, Carrie Poppins wasn't much better, but still, it was better than killing her off. So, but yeah, I don't think that it'll be that way. I think that she'll probably be there to begin the New Republic, or help the foundations of it, the New Republic, I guess. Republic Take 3, but yeah. So I would love to see that for sure.
Is Force Ghost out of the options for her? I mean, I know she's force sensitive, but I think you had to go through a certain amount of training and knowledge in order to become a Force Ghost. But
technically, but we don't know if Anakin went through that, and he's a Force Ghost.
That's true. I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking, like, obviously her story does come to an end, and I know, shortly after The Last Jedi, once we found out about her passing and all, that was the first thing I kind of thought about, is how they're going to end her story. Because I don't think they can just send her off and let her go and retire, because that's not Leia. She's not one that's ever going to just be like, I'm going to go sit in my rocking chair on my porch. That's not her. So I feel like, and I don't want them necessarily to kill her off either, but I feel like maybe her almost having like a Luke kind of passing, where like she just kind of disappears.
Just kind of is.
Yeah, just kind of is. It's the only real way to end her story without, making it super, like, soul-crushing, I guess.
Oh, it's going to be soul-crushing.
Either way it is. But I'm just saying, like, you can't just be like, her shit blew up, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just... And she's not going to go sit on a porch and retire, because that's never been her. So I feel like there's got to be some type of, like, just... It is.
Yeah, like a beautiful gesture. Like, even... Because now that you were saying that, I was thinking, like, I wonder if she... If there's somehow a Jedi temple, I wonder if we see her, like, leaving, or maybe like, okay, I saved all these kids or adults or Jedis, and my job here is done. Like, I'm just gonna rest in peace.
Right.
And now my watch has ended.
Yeah,
I beat you to it. Sorry, we're in Game of Thrones mind right now.
Like, I to talk about it. Sorry.
But yeah, I feel like it's just got to be something kind of simple yet sentimental and still really just her.
I think JJ and Kathy are going to do it right.
They will.
Sure.
They for sure will. It's just, I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of like, how, what's going to happen?
Yeah. I feel like that's at the forefront of everybody's mind is how would they deal with it. So, no, I'm both dreading seeing that and at the same time eager to see it. So,
Same.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know one thing for sure is that Star Wars always has beautiful funerals. So there's some way that if they do incorporate Carrie Fisher, Leia's death in the movie, I know it's gonna be beautiful.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They definitely will. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've ended this on a side note. No, I'm just
Right.
kidding.
Goodbye.
A beautiful note. No, so cool. So that is our 9 and a bonus theory for episode 9. I think that's a good place to end it. Anna, you want to tell everybody where they can find you?
You guys can find me at La Geeky Life with 2 eyes on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Yay! And definitely follow her. She's got really cool stuff. Like, do that. And guys, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Kessel Run Weekly, as well as our website, kesselrunweekly.com. And as always, thank you for listening or watching our episodes. We really appreciate you guys each week. If you enjoy this episode or any of our past episodes, anything like that, please leave us a review on iTunes. We would be happy to read it on the show. We love when we get to hear from you guys. Even if you don't have iTunes, as one of our friends did, you just DM us. We love to hear from you. That's literally like almost all of the fun from this is getting to hear from you guys and your theories and your opinions and your point of views and everything. So we would love to hear from you. So yeah, you can get in contact with us on our social media. Cool. So that's everything. So until next time, my name is Danny.
I'm Kristen.
I'm Anna.
And may the force be with you.
Always.